The relays that we're going to use to control current in our motors are switches. We don't want to have a finger pushing the button to turn the current off. We want this under electrical Arduino control. So the switches, instead of having a button like the one shown here, have a couple of wires. You drive some current through those wires, and there's an electromagnet inside the relay that creates a magnetic field. There's a fixed magnet on the push button, if you will, and so we push the button, we switch the switch with the magnetic field, which is therefore something we can control electrically. So to understand relays, which are just switches driven by magnets, we need to understand a little bit about switches. So there's just a little terminology that will help us understand relays, and it's switch terminology. So the first thing to do when you have a switch to look at is to look at the number of electrical connections on the bottom. And that's right away going to tell you something about what it can do. Notice that this little guy only has 2 electrical connections. So pretty much all it can do is have those 2 be connected, shorted, or open. And that's probably what the 0 and the 1 on the switch toggle there refers to. So our electrical diagram for this would look like this here. We'd have the 2 wires, and then there's a single mechanical element that can close or open that electrical connection. We refer to, due to some pretty old jargon, the bit that moves, the push button, the thing that closes the connection, as a pole. And we refer to the number of places it could connect to as a throw. Not the greatest language, but it's what everyone uses, so you're going to have to learn it. So this is a single pole, only one part that moves. Single throw, only one connection it can go to. Switch, SPST, single pole, single throw. If you look at your switch and you see 3 connections, well, there's a couple of different things it can do, but in general, it's most likely there's a common wire, probably in the middle, and as you slide this slider back and forth, you're going to be able to connect the common to one of the throws or the second throw. So now you can connect, instead of just open and closed, you can choose that maybe some voltage is coming in here, and it either connects to the top throw or the bottom throw. So this would be a single pole, only one part that's moving. Double throw, you can connect the common to 2 different outputs. So single pole, double throw. Most switches with 3 wires coming out the back, that's probably what they are. And then it can just get as crazy as you'd like, depending on your needs. So if you looked at this particular guy, you'd see 6 wires out the bottom. You can kind of see here, there's 2 across one side, 3 down the length. There's a total of 6. That's an indication there's more going on in that very first switch we looked at. So here we have 2 poles. There's 2 bits that move, and the dotted line indicates they're mechanically tied together. When you move one, you move the other. But then each individual switch looks like the last one in that there's a common coming in, and I can switch to the top or the bottom throw. And that whole process is just duplicated on the bottom. So this would be useful if I wanted to have a voltage connect to one of these 2 wires. And for some reason, at the same time, switched the same way, I needed a second electrical circuit that just did the same thing. So this is a double pole, double throw. So that's about enough for you to figure this out. Relays exist in essentially all of these configurations. The only difference between these relays and a switch is here the switch is thrown mechanically with your finger, and a relay, there's an electromagnet in there. You drive some current through that coil of wire, and it magnetically throws the switch for you. So you have an electrically controlled switch.